Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today we have my instant reaction to the Grand Prix. It was, I think, in the start, it was a very boring race. Nothing really happened except for some struggles for the Haas cars and Kimi Raikkonen almost getting overtaken by Nico Hülkenberg. We also had Romain Grosjean retiring from the Grand Prix, but that was the only thing that was actually interesting in this race, except for, let's say, Hamilton's seat breaking. But unfortunately, it didn't really affect the race. But then Alex Albon actually driving over one of the cones, the yellow cones, and it went onto the track. And then they had to do a mini VSC, virtual safety car, to get a steward out and pick it up from the track so that the drivers could continue. But the effect of that safety car we will talk about later. But first of all, I want to talk about Lando Norris, because in the middle of the race he got a hydraulic issue, and the hydraulic also controls the DRS, the steering, and the gear shifts as well. So that was a massive problem for him, and he had Ricciardo right up his tail, who had Raikkonen running after him, and he had Hülkenberg behind him. So it was all a big chase, and it was very exciting to see who would come out on top at the end. But it ended up being Lando Norris, who actually came 10th. He got overtaken by both Hülkenberg, Raikkonen, and Daniel Ricciardo, while Sainz was up in 6th place. Daniel Ricciardo came in 7th after chasing down the Renaults the whole time. Raikkonen didn't get overtaken by Nico Hülkenberg, so that's a positive for him. He was P8 and Hülkenberg came P9. Then we of course have Norris P10 and Pierre Gasly in P11. A very, very poor performance. I would say that he doesn't really have the skill to be at Red Bull, because as you can see, Verstappen gets a much better result than him in P4, while we have Sebastian Vettel in 5th, but he pitted for a free pit stop at the end to get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and he also did that. They called it Plan F for fastest lap. Charles Leclerc in 3rd, and this is where it gets a bit annoying for me, because he came 8/10ths of a second after Valtteri Bottas. This is where the virtual safety car kicked in, because after that virtual safety car, Bottas had some problems with managing his tires. He couldn't really turn them on again, so Charles Leclerc had a much better chance of getting second than he would have had before. So he pushed on, and in the end he catched Bottas very quickly, but he only had one lap to make the move, and that wasn't enough. So he ended very, very close. I remember he was 4/10ths of a second behind him at one point. And then we of course have Lewis Hamilton actually winning for the 4th time in a row. I would say very good performance from him. He was actually under total control in this race, even with a broken chair, as we said, and blistered tires and lots of other problems. But in the end, he got there and wins again for the 6th time this season. So very good performance to him. Mercedes obviously having the better car this weekend, I would say, than Ferrari, unfortunately for me, but what can you do? Then we go down the order to Sergio Perez in 12th, with Lance Stroll right behind him. And look, this is the first time in this Grand Prix that my predictions were right, that Lance Stroll would come after Sergio Perez, because I think last video I had the worst predictions ever. So that's good to see. and actually Daniel Kvyat and Albon next to each other. I said that as well, but I said it the other way around, so can't really say that I was right there. In the end, Giovinazzi overtaking Magnussen. Magnussen having a lot of problems. Haas car has gone downwards and downwards. They are now, except for the Williams cars, the slowest car. Of course, no one beats Williams in slow pace. They were 18th and 19th, only because Romain Grosjean actually retired from this race. I don't know why, but I think that they didn't believe that he would come any further, so there's no point in using engine and all of that, and taking that risk. That's actually it for my instant race reaction. I would say great performance from the Mercedes guys again. Still a bit annoyed that Ferrari couldn't take up the fight, but after that qualifying, you can't really do anything. So I would say Charles Leclerc maybe should have gotten second place, but still great performance from Mercedes. So here you guys can see the standings right now. As you can see, Hamilton in first, of course, with all those wins. He is at 187 points, around about 45 points in front of Valtteri Bottas, who has 151 points. Sebastian Vettel in third with 111, so he's not out yet, but it's slowly going downwards, and we'll see. And Verstappen in fourth, doing very, very well when you compare him to his teammate with 100 points in front of Charles Leclerc at 87 points, with Pierre Gasly behind him at 36. Then you have Carlos Sainz in 7th, doing an amazing job at McLaren. He's at 26 points. He is looking very good this season. And we also have Daniel Ricciardo right behind him at 22 points. Kimi Raikkonen actually in 9th with 17 points, and still Kevin Magnussen in 10th, but I think that'll go down slowly because he's also tied with Nico Hülkenberg, who also has 14 points, and Lando Norris right behind them at 13 points, who is also tied with Sergio Perez in P13 with also 13 points. Then we have 3 points down, it's Daniel Kvyat with 10 points, and Alexander Albon another 3 points down on him with 7 points. Lance Stroll right behind him in 16th, and we also have Grosjean in 17th with 2 points this season, not so good performance from him. And Giovinazzi 0 points, as well as the 2 Williams cars. Giovinazzi, I think it's a shame because you can see that Kimi is actually doing very well up in P9. By the way guys, if you enjoyed the content, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to my channel to save my soul, because I am depressed right now because Ferrari aren't winning, so please. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.